This is, how much is really about a coach and how much is about a roster? It's a fascinating story over the weekend. I think it's interesting because there's a lot to this. Notice how quickly, and I guess the right way to put it is easily, the Oklahoma football program has disappeared from your top of mind awareness. Like, it is a quick disappearing act. Now, outside of diehard fans and face painters, but when you start to think of blue bloods, if you just did a quick focus group study, very few people would drop them in there right now. So why the quick slip? How do you get it back? The Athletic, which is the New York Times sports section, has an interesting story, which I think fits an interesting theory that I have. And I think the Oklahoma football program and their head coach are interesting guinea pigs in all of this. The title of the piece is "The Pricey Blitz to Save a Coach." And I thought, why would they do that? They're paying him $8 million. I don't think the title should be "The Pricey Blitz to Save a Coach." I think the real topic here, see if you agree with this, I think the real topic is, can a blue blood that doesn't have the money survive? Like, what do you do to make it? Not about the coach, it's about the program itself. Is it a mistake? The basic question they pose is it a mistake or the right move to get their head coach, Brent Venables, everything he would ask for? Almost. You can't say they're not trying after you hearing what they're doing. I don't think it'll work because I think in the end we're going to know the real answer. So if you think you have to do what Oklahoma is trying to do to give your most expensive employee, that's Brent Venables, a chance to succeed, then you say right on. But that's fine. But I think we're going to find out a real answer here. Or maybe not. So the takeaway should be this. If Oklahoma, would anybody listening to me right now put them among the top 4 in the SEC? This year, next year, year after? I bet you wouldn't. I bet you wouldn't even come close. Think how weird that is. That is one of the bluest of the blue bloods that owned the Big 12 all those years. And don't start this stuff because I can use Alabama as the exact same example. How it is a blue blood could now be middle of the pack, if that. Is it really about coaching? How much of it, whether it's Oklahoma, whether it's Alabama, or anybody else you want to insert there, how much of it is really about coaching? Because they're betting the house that it's about coaching. Alabama fans freak out on Feinbaum's show, and to them it's about coaching. Are you sure it's about coaching? Is it really Brent Venables' fault? I'm not even sure I can answer that right now. I don't think he's very good, but maybe I'm wrong. Is Oklahoma doomed to a future of middle-of-the-pack SEC program? And to test my theory further, is Alabama doomed to being a 4th or 5th or 6th best team in the SEC? And that would sound crazy 2 years ago. 3 years ago, it'd be nuts. It's a legitimate question for two of the bluest blood programs that have completely opposite resumes at head coach. Okay? Can Oklahoma afford to be among the best teams in the SEC? Right? I mean, Brent Venables, they're going to put it to a test. The whole story is about they're going to give him everything he wants. They're going to give him whatever coordinators he wants. He's got a 29-year-old coordinator now calling the plays who was Cam Ward's coach. They just said, what do you need, man? We're going to give it to you. Are you sure that's what it's about? Are you sure it's about getting a good coaching staff? Are you sure it's not about the money? Okay, so Brent Venables, who may be a top-flight coach. Maybe he is. I don't think so, but I know Kalen DeBoer is. So it's a sugar daddy model of college football. That's what I call it. Here's what the story says. It's titled, "The Pricey Blitz to Save a Coach." To understand the evolving economy of big-time college football in 2025, look to Norman, Oklahoma. Brent Venables is 22-17 in 3 years at Oklahoma. Sandwiched between 2 6-7 seasons is a 10-win season in 2023. there have been very few coaches who have entered a more clear-cut, do better or get fired season than Venables, who makes $8.5 million per season. So what is good? What is good enough for him next year? I think they're probably right. Do better or get fired. Does that mean they win 7 and it's good enough? Does that mean they win 8 and it's good enough? 8 would get you what? Middle of the pack of the SEC? What's good enough now? How can these blue blood programs all of a sudden, why would that be that they're now saying, well, 8 wins is pretty good. Middle of the pack would be great. We'll give you all you need, coach, to keep your job. You make $9 million a year, and you can't even finish in the top 4 in your league. It says OU has new coordinators in both sides of the ball. Ben Arbuckle, 29-year-old, who most recently coached Cam Ward from Miami. They have a new general manager to run the program, and he goes on and on and on about all the things, these systematic things they've done to save their football program. So how much is really about coaching? I'm going to say not much. Not much. Kalen DeBoer, right? If you were ever to take the time to listen every day of the year to People Call Feinbaum show, they are convinced that Kalen DeBoer is a loser, a jackass, and he's got to go, right? I find that pretty laughable, given what he did at Washington. It's not like he's forgotten football. I think he's among the best coaches, and all I have to do is point out what he did at Washington. Alabama was up and down a year ago. They'll be good, but there's no way they're probably to the standard they were 5 years ago. That won't happen again unless you have the money. Kalen DeBoer goes to Washington, and they dismantle Oregon. I think they did it twice, did they not? Dismantle Texas. If Nick Saban was at Alabama last year, they looked just like they did. It would have been the same thing. And he knows it, and that's why he got out of the sport. So my point is, yeah, a coach matters some. It's just like the NFL. I don't care how good of a coach you are or how bad of a coach you are. I'm pretty sure Nick Sirianni's not that good of a head coach. I'm pretty sure. I'm pretty sure you could give the Philadelphia Eagles roster to most of the head coaches in the NFL. Didn't say all, because I think there are some meatheads. But you could give that roster to most coaches in the NFL, and they do the exact same thing. Kalen DeBoer could take Ohio State and run the table and win a championship, and I think pretty easily. I think I can make the same argument for Sonny Dykes at TCU, who won 8 games there. You give him Texas or Ohio State's roster, they win a championship, and I'm pretty sure pretty easily. So what's about coaching? Is this really about Brent Venables' fault? Although I think he's going to end up getting fired. And what's it really about? So it's like the NFL. This is one of the things I said during the season. It's like the NFL in this way. Okay, it's all about the roster. It's all about the roster. It's all about the talent. The roster matters more in the NFL because it's only 54. And the margin of error in the NFL is even thinner because there's a salary cap. But either way, it's about the rosters. And I'm not saying Brent Venables is, Newt Rockne or Tom Landry or Don Shula, but they're giving him all this stuff. They're trying to make him a better coach, reportedly. And in the end, it's really about the money you can spend on a roster. And that's true of the Eagles. So both of them are the same in the roster. Where college football is not like the NFL, is the NFL is really about putting together a roster by balancing that whole roster, that payroll, against a hard salary cap. In college football, it's just about the roster and how much you can spend to get the roster to get the best possible players you can. There is no cap, so there is no balance. It doesn't matter if you swing and miss, if you're Ohio State or Texas with a few Lamborghinis. It doesn't matter to them. They can just keep going and going and going. In the NFL, you got to measure the money. And if Oklahoma can't play that game, they won't be among the top 4 in the SEC. All this stuff and this write-up in the New York Times about how they're trying to save his job. I mean, again, he seems like a likable guy. They want him to do well. I think most people want him to do well. But You're a 6 or 7 win program. Is that about the coach? If Alabama, okay, the bluest of the blue bloods, can't play the game that Ohio State, Oregon, and Texas and SMU can play, are they going to be among the top 4 in the SEC? Is there anybody who would put them there right now outside of face painters? And all you have to do is you can move these coaches around. You can. I think Sonny Dykes might be one of the best coaches, best 3 or 4 coaches in all of college football. Why? Because everywhere he stops, like Kalen DeBoer, they keep winning. Had he not left SMU, right? He left SMU for TCU, pre-Sugar Daddy days. And TCU, you know what they've done. They played for a championship, got their ass kicked, but they played for a championship. They won, 8 or 9 last year on not a very good roster. If you stuck him back at SMU, they'd be top 10 because they'll outspend everyone. So think about it, right? Think about Brent Venables. Think about Kalen DeBoer. Think about Sonny Dykes. Think about the best of the best and the worst. If you took Nick Sirianni and put him to Cleveland, with the Cleveland Browns, they look just the same. You could even take Mike McCarthy, the doofus that is Mike McCarthy. You took him out of Dallas and stuck him with the Eagles. I'd bet you they'd still win a championship. And that's even with Mike McCarthy. I think the same thing applies here. I think they can try as hard as they want, but I think Brent Venables is not just a guinea pig because of his job next year. He's really like a guinea pig, and Oklahoma's a guinea pig for the future of blue blood programs that may or may not be able to spend with the elite. Because they finish middle of the pack, they'll run him out again, and they'll blame it on the coach. If Kalen DeBoer has a couple years where they're not winning 10, they'll run him out and blame it. Well, one, they'll blame it because he's an outsider. They'll blame it on the fact that he's an outsider. He's not Nick Saban, and it's all his fault why Alabama can't crack the top 4 anymore. And none of that's probably going to be true. It's going to be about the roster.